It's really great to see you all here today. We're going to read a little bit from the words of Orna and try to give you all some understanding and background of what this whole project was about and how it came to be. One lady who contributed greatly to this couldn't be here, and she included a preface in the book, which Danielle's going to read. First, I'm going to start with Orna's preference. I am blessed by Source Energy to share some experiences from my mission. I've been blessed to live a very long time, and I'm so grateful to the Source, creator of all things, for this beautiful opportunity to be of service directly to Source. Furthermore, I was given this mission to spread the message of love and peace to as many ears and eyes as possible here on planet Earth, so that Earth will be greatly assisted in ascending to the next level, to the fifth dimension. I am grateful to Source for this vessel, whom you and I know as Brett, for agreeing to connect with me. He could have said no, and there would have been no recriminations towards him, for free will is always inviolate. I thank Source for bringing you into our collective, Nina. That's the lady, she'll be reading her preface. Together, the three of us have completed the initial phase of this mission. This is a great responsibility. The incredible positivity both you and Brett share and your willingness to be of service to others above all else ensures that this will be a successful mission. In many ways, it already is. And what's to come will be a surprise to you and Brett, but not to me. Everything is progressing as Source shared it would. I've heard many different voices, many of whom Brett has shared my presence with, the knowledge of my presence and our connection, which makes many declarations. Many are impressed that so much has happened to Brett in such a short period of time. That's why I'm kind of a little bit. I lost my place. Shut up, Brett. Many find it something to be envious of that Brett has a light energy being asking him to channel them. And to those people I say, your gifts are within reach. Utilize them, and you can also become a channel for Source Energy to share love and peace with everyone you interact with and encounter. Brett is one example of many who have chosen and agreed to utilize the information through these channels to benefit their lives, their families' lives, their communities' lives, and the love of the planet. When humanity truly comes together in love and peace, it becomes one of the most potent forces in the universe. This is another one of the many reasons why this schoolyard called Earth is valued so highly in the universe, and why so many beings from elsewhere are willing to do what's necessary to experience the emotions of compassion, gratitude, and human love. In their current state of being, they grasp the concept but haven't experienced the actual emotion. Earth is a special place. I'm honored to be of service to this beautiful, beautiful schoolyard where humans incarnate to test themselves, to learn about themselves, and to improve their souls so that they may advance to the place where they also may ascend and seek out all that the universe has to offer, not in knowledge, but in love. I look forward to the next phase of this mission. I thank the Creator God, maker of all things, the source of all infinite love, light, and energy, for this opportunity to be of service. Thank you all. Happy listening, happy reading, happy living. Always, Orna. And now, my wife's going to read the preface of Nina, who cannot be here.
Okay, Nina is a QHHT practitioner, and she met Brett online and agreed to basically ask questions of Orna and transcribe all the audio recordings. And because of personal obligations and stuff, she can't work with us anymore, but we are eternally grateful for all the work that she did. So I'm going to read the preface to the book that she wrote. So she has a quote from Saint Teresa, but this is a different translation of it, so it's a little odd. But when you have grown still on purpose while everything around you asks for your chaos, you will find the doors between every room of this interior castle thrown open, the path home to your true love unobstructed. So she goes on to say, from the age of 6 to 8 years old, I found myself in the thrall of Daudelaire's Book of Greek Myths. I repeatedly referred to that title in my school library and read each story repeatedly. At that early age, I would ruminate on the meaning of life. I was not yet aware of the concept of archetypes, but I felt back then that the myths somehow revealed truths about life itself. This was not something that I openly shared with others, but every book I read and film I watched was an opportunity to extract wisdom that might reveal the secrets of existence. More than 40 years later, in 2022, I embarked on a career in hypnosis. In that first year as a practitioner, I encountered client after client with galactic connections to star systems such as Sirius, the Pleiades, Lyra, Hadar, and others. I became privy to my clients' hitherto buried past memories, many of which included lives on other planets in bodies that were not human. Although nervous excitement fills me every time I meet a client for hypnosis, this is balanced with a feeling that I will somehow know what questions to ask and how to proceed, even when the hypnosis session does not unfold in a textbook fashion. Fast forward to November 2023 when I met Brett Lloyd and Orna for the first time online. After many hypnosis sessions on which several occasions were the equivalent of conversations with higher dimensional entities and extraterrestrials, the prospect of talking with a 10,000-year-old 10th dimensional light being of Arcturian lineage felt like a natural step forward. Entirely natural, in fact. As you read Orna's words, I hope you feel the ease of these dialogues. There were no rehearsals. We jumped into work with neither Brett nor myself knowing what would be said. There was nothing for me to prepare. We just showed up, and the dialogue you are about to read results from 10 sessions. From my point of view, this work's central theme is ascension. What is ascension? Ascension is the natural evolutionary process in which all life in this three-dimensional reality we experience on Earth is prompted to awaken to and to be activated by elevated frequencies from source energy. For thousands of years, humans have participated in the polarity drama of the zero-sum game, might versus right, and the inevitable chaos of entropy. Today, many are awakening to a reality where no losers need to exist, where patterns of victimization, blame, and resentment are laid to rest in favor of a reality where everyone is recognized as having individuated from source energy. The fact that higher dimensional beings, such as Orna, are interacting with humanity at an increasing rate is a testament to the evolution of awareness on the planet. There is a hunger and there is a thirst for the truth. As more people meditate and look for guidance within, they naturally begin to access the wisdom of their own souls. They invite the wisdom of higher dimensional beings with whom they may have agreements and soul contracts to start a dialogue, prompting them to understand that the story of humanity, of the earth, and humanity's place in the galactic domain is rich and profound. It is a story that is largely unknown. This book is a primer on the foundational concepts that will assist those who wish to hear this ascension message. Orna touches on topics such as the nature of the Creator, the fear of death, the value of relationships, health, nutrition, and the mechanics of manifestation. The central theme is the truth that there is a loving source from which we derive our very being. Orna's words remind humanity that the doors to the interior castle are open, waiting for each of us to reunite with our infinite nature. The foundation of this work is the beautiful concept of service to others, which I first encountered when I read The Raw Material in 2012, and I would urge everybody, please read The Raw Material. I would not have been a part of this project if Brett and Orna had not been in service to others. We are here to remember that each of us is a creator in our own right, with the wherewithal to manifest our chosen destiny. Suppose Orna's words are the catalyst for even one person to awaken to that truth. In that case, this is truly a worthy endeavor. I thank everyone who is called to read this book. I convey my most heartfelt thanks and love to Brett and Orna for inviting me to be a part of this work. I hope that I have also been a worthy amanuensis and will continue to be so, although unfortunately she can't. I also thank my clients and the community of practitioners I have encountered through the work of Dolores Cannon. And she goes on to thank her husband and friends, and she loves everybody. So that's
Okay, now comes the part I've been dying to share. A long, long time. Many of y'all have heard me talk about when we first walked through that door back there in 2023. And one of the things that we were really interested in right off the bat was the Friday night mediumship class, the circle class. And I knew it was going to be slow for me. I knew I was a newbie. I knew nothing. And I knew it was going to take a while before I saw or heard or felt anything. 2 weeks into it, she's seeing stuff. I'm not seeing anything. So it finally dawned on me, I'm sure my guidance played a role in this, that I was going to have to learn how to meditate, or I wasn't going to see squat ever. And so in the middle of June of last year, I got on YouTube and found some guided meditations and started with 5 minutes and then went to 8, 10, and then eventually up to 20. And then I developed my own little mantra, which I'll share with you. It's, I am calm, I am quiet. And that gets me into the state I need to be in for the universe to open itself up to me. Just throw that box of tissue away because I'm not going to get through this.
Love that.
Anyway,
Love that.
The night of August 4th, right back here in this room, I decided I was going to treat the class like a meditation. Because my attitude, how I was approaching it, obviously wasn't working. And if you're sitting in a class and everybody else is getting messages for others and they're feeling all this energy, et cetera, and I'm sitting there going, I know I should be able to do this. What's going on? So the night of August 4th, I approached the whole thing as a meditation. And I'm so grateful. 20 minutes into the class, I suddenly, in my mind's eye, see this golden, orangish ball of energy. And I'm like, wow, that's me. I know that's mine. That's me. Oh, wow, this is cool. Finally, something. And then a few moments later, on the left side of my mind's eye, this blue ball of energy appears. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, what? That's not me. What's going on? Huh? And Kelly, who teaches that class, had always told us if we ever experienced something, heard something, saw something, felt something that we didn't understand, to bring it to the group. So I did that. And all Kelly had to say was, well, that sounds a lot like channeling. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, channeling? Me? I knew about channeling because we have a Gaia subscription and I always found them fascinating people. But me? Somebody would speak? No, that's just not going to happen. That's crazy talk, you know? And then not 5 minutes later, a very talented young man named Drew comes to me and says, Brett, I want you to know that's standing right on your left is an extraterrestrial with sapphire colored eyes. And they want you to know, if you're willing, they will make a connection with you. And for a moment, I thought my intuition, my belly, was just going to jump out on the floor and start screaming at me, do it, say yes, say yes, say yes. So I said yes. And I was connected with Orna. And I'll never forget on the way home that night. It's like, that's not something you plan on happening when you come to a class. It wasn't anywhere in my mind. It wasn't something I was quietly trying to manifest into reality. It just happened. And my first concern was, how do I convince her I'm not crazy again? For real. Because as many of you will remember, and for those of you who are new, I suffered from chronic mental illness for 43 years of my life. And through a dietary change, I eliminated all my symptoms, and my quality of life has just been stupid good before this. And then you add Orna into the mix, and geez, I feel like I'm walking on air most days. But she decided, go ahead and tell them what you came up with, what you concluded.
So, obviously I was present for all of this, and my thought was, well, either he's the greatest con man of all time and somehow got through in on it, which I couldn't figure that part out, or he was really off his rocker. And now I'd known him, at this point for 25 years or more, actually 26 years by that point. And while he was nuts, he wasn't that kind of nuts. or C, it was true and it was for real, and so I went with C. So.
And Orna began teaching me download after download after download. And she told me at the very beginning, you have nothing to fear. I will never ask you to do something you're not capable of doing, and do it successfully. 4 days later, we're on our way to work together. Mondays I work at the print shop where she's production supervisor. I get to do the nastiest job they have. I'm glad to have it because it makes the car pay. But as we were walking out the door, Orna tells me, I absolutely must speak with your wife on your way to work. I'm like, huh? Already? Are you serious? And she's driving, and I say, okay, Orna wants to talk to you. And suddenly my mind's eye, I was looking at her in the top left corner of my mind's eye, and in the bottom right hand corner, I'm looking at the dashboard. And then Orna starts talking through me for the first time, and it sounds like she's 200 yards away, but I can barely make out what she's saying. And basically what she told Danielle was, relax. Your marriage is very important to me. He's not going to do anything that's going to jeopardize your life together. He'll make mistakes, but he won't make them repeatedly. And I want you to know it's going to be all right. And of course, it was just a short 3-4 minute kind of conversation. I think Danielle's response was, thank you. And thank you. I think that was probably the only thing she said. And
it was very weird.
Yeah, it was very weird.
Because it was obvious. It's so hard to describe it. I knew it wasn't him talking.
Yeah.
It's very odd.
And so I asked her, after it was over and I got my vision back into normal and whatnot, and so how was it? Oh, it was weird. I said, you should have been on my end of it. It's just crazy. But since then, Orna's improved the connection to where that bifurcation of my mental vision is no longer necessary, thankfully. And she has constantly provided me with everything I've needed at every step of the way. And I was given the greatest, fastest mediumship course. I can't even describe how I went from in June not able to meditate to November of 2023. I was sitting right up against that wall doing readings at the psychic fair. And I realized in that moment, this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. And Orna said from the beginning, her mission is to spread the message of peace and love throughout the world for as many people as possible to hear this message that she's going to share. And she's going to share it with you all here in just a little while, because I'm going to bring her forward. And you're going to get a chance to ask her questions. And then afterwards, you can ask me questions, because I'm sure you're going to have some. I will do my best to answer them. Some of this is very hard to put into English, because it's so much about a feeling. It's about how certain energy feels at certain times, unlike other times, etc. And some of it, I just thank God for clear cognizance, because if I had to spell it out every time, and I wouldn't be very good at anything. So I just want you all to be patient, keep an open mind. This is all very real. Believe me, I wouldn't give myself an opportunity to embarrass myself in front of people that matter a great deal to me for no damn good reason. And so now I'm going to pull the chair up here and grab that microphone, and Danielle's going to ask Orna a couple of questions to get things rolling, and let's see what happens. One thing I will let you know, when I'm channeling Orna, I don't hear what she's saying. I've done interviews where I've channeled Orna. I didn't know what she said. It scared the hell out of me. But they were smiling when I came out of the trance, so I was like, yeah, it's good. It's good. and so just be patient. I've never channeled her to this many people before at once. I have no idea what she's going to say specifically, so just bear with me and enjoy what comes forth. All right? Okay, let's get this over here. That. This is so people in the back can hear her when she's talking, because her voice isn't as boisterous as mine is. All right, just a moment. Good morning. I am Orna, and I am pleased to be in your presence. I understand Brent's wife is going to ask a couple of questions to begin this session. Danielle, you may proceed.
Good morning, Orna.
Good morning.
My first question, I'll still ask it even though you do go over it in your preface, and that is, why even do this? why come to Earth of all places? And I guess that's just it. Why even do this?
Thank you for that question. I'm doing this because Source directed me. Source spoke to me and asked me to be of service to Source and to come to planet Earth to share this message of love and peace and to teach Brett these things he's needed to know. I've come here to uplift and bring joy into the hearts and minds of everyone who will listen in order to assist in the planet's ascension to the fifth dimension. It is a great honor and it is a beautiful task. And this book is but the first step in that task. Because in Earth living, if you don't have a book, no one will pay attention to you, oddly enough. So we've taken care of that for now. And now sharing openly, no longer keeping things secret, hidden away. It's time to share the message that Source has given me to share with each and every one of you and with every person with eyes and ears on planet Earth. That is why I am here. Do you have another question? Please ask.
Yes, I do. Of the billions of people on Earth, not just now, but in the past or even in the future, why Brett?
I first reached out to Brett when he was 7 years old because Brett and I had met and discussed this before his incarnation into this life. And he agreed to sign a soul contract that he would complete this work. That is why Brett was chosen, because I recognized he's a very old soul. He's been every good thing and every bad thing a human being could ever imagine over many lifetimes. And he always manages to succeed in his missions. I reached out to Brett at the age of 7, and he saw the lights that were flashing. He heard the tinkling sounds. His head filled up with energy, which he didn't understand then. He was unafraid. He was unconcerned, but he realized, and rightly so it turns out, that he could not tell his parents what was happening, for they would not believe a word of it, and he would be chastised for carrying tales. And so I checked in on Brett every few years, and I was amazed at what I saw in this particular human being. There is no quit within him. When he sets his mind to accomplish a task, he accomplishes it. And I needed that kind of individual to do this work that we are now beginning right here in front of you today. Brett keeps his word when he's well. And thank Source and all the great spirits that contributed to his wellness. I hope that answer was satisfactory.
Yes, that was wonderful. Can you take a couple of questions from the audience?
I most certainly will. Please ask.
I have a question.
Let's go to the back there. Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Lindsay.
Hello, Lindsay. It's a pleasure to meet you. I've seen you here before through Brett's eyes.
Cool. What can you tell me about the solar flash and when it's gonna happen?
The solar flash will happen on Source's timetable. Source has not revealed to me when that is exactly going to occur. But it is good to be prepared, for the sun has assaulted, for lack of a better term, the earth before with matter that was ejected from the surface of the sun. Source recommends always being prepared for any eventuality, including a severe eruption from the sun that strikes Earth. There might be a period of time when humans have to remember how to live without electricity. It's something that's going to happen, but I've not been privileged to learn the exact timetable of this, Lindsay. I'm sorry I cannot be more precise.
That's okay. Thank you for your answer.
Okay, thanks. Next. Charlie?
Yes, my name's Charlie. And you talk about the fifth dimension. I'm really confused. I know in the Earth we understand that we live in a three-dimensional world. Could you please explain what the fourth and the fifth dimensions are?
The fourth dimension is, everyone in here has experienced the fourth dimension when they were between incarnations. It's the spirit realm. It's what some people would term as their heaven. It's a place where truth is common. There are no deceptions. And unconditional love permeates the entire atmosphere. If you desire something, you can create it there with just a thought. Many souls choose, after they've experienced a number of incarnations, to stay there in that place in the fourth dimension, because there is no suffering, there is happiness, and there is the unconditional love of Source itself. Did I fully answer the question that you asked, sir?
Could you explain the fifth dimension?
The fifth dimension. The fifth dimension is going to be a much kinder place for human beings to exist in. The dark manipulative energies that so permeate this 3D world that you are now in, that I now sit in myself in order to make contact with Brett, is dominated by dark, dense energies that have manipulated enormous portions of the human population into believing things designed to frighten them, designed to manipulate them, designed to prevent humans from ever knowing how powerful they can become. Those energies will have no power in the fifth dimension. Humans will be free to experience their gifts, their spiritual gifts, and be able to become amazing creators of their reality in ways that were just not possible in this 3D dimension. Do what's necessary to bring yourself into a vibration so that when your time comes, you can live in the fifth dimension and experience all that Source desires you to experience. For you will be untethered. There will be no fear to hold you back, to prevent your gifts from coming to the front as they should, naturally. We hope this answer was sufficient.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Is there another question?
We have another question here.
Hi, my name is Chrissy.
Good morning, Chrissy.
Good morning. If I may ask a question, I have been working towards finding my life's purpose and, why I'm here, what gifts can I give back to help. And I believe that I'm supposed to be a healer with the Reiki healing because that feels natural to me and it seems to be effective to people. But I feel like there's something else that I'm not seeing yet. Would you be able to assist with what that might be?
You are correct when you say you are meant to be a healer.
Okay.
You've mastered the Reiki side of healing. I would encourage you, especially next weekend, to avail yourself of the opportunity to experience a quantum healing. And I would encourage you to look into understanding and learning how to provide that particular modality of healing so you become a multiple modality healer.
Okay. Are you talking about the quantum healing with Barbara McGillicuddy?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
That I'm signed up for that.
Brett and Danielle are signed up for it as well, as many others will be.
Okay. Thank you, Orna.
You're very welcome.
Anybody else?
I was told that somebody named Jen would have a question today, and I have been encouraged not to let them get away with not asking it.
Good morning, Orna. First of all, I want to thank you for all the work that you have done to help my son.
You're very welcome. It
And
is
the
a
help
great
you
honor.
continue to do to facilitate his healing. I always tell Brett he makes me cry every morning, but I guess it's you. I don't want to cry every morning, so. But I have a few questions actually. My first one is that, it is said that on this plane of Earth, we are visited by Octurians and Palladians. And I wanted to ask you, is that true? One, two, what are the similarities between them? What are the differences between them? As far as maybe people having different particular ones as spirit guides or come to them and what that could mean for them?
I'm going to have to give you a very Reader's Digest version of this because otherwise we would have to be here for a couple more hours than the time that has been allotted. I will try to make sense for you. Pleiadians were some of the first beings to ever step foot on planet Earth. They are part of the original Anu, or the Anunnaki, as many of you are aware. They are of various sizes. They're very much looking in appearance like you all do today. They tend to be a little shorter in stature in most cases, but not all. Palladians are both spiritually cognizant and they're technologically advanced. And they have helped protect this planet from diverse forces that would very much like to come and strip planet Earth of all of its resources. Arcturians tend to be a little more spiritual. They look a little bit less like humans do. They have larger heads. They can be 7 to 8 feet in height. They can also be 3 feet tall, depending on what branch of Arcturian bloodlines they're a part of. They're very technologically advanced, but they're much more spiritually advanced than they are technologically. Lyrians are very much a spiritual race that has developed its own unique technologies. The biggest difference between these species is their physical forms evolved over many millions of years as their planets, their home worlds, atmospheres changed and adjusted over those millions of years. The similarities are in that when a Pleiadian tells you something, they're speaking truth. When a Lyrian shares information with you, you can be certain that it's real and valid. Arcturians are also, I'm proud to say, as someone of Arcturian descent, very honest and very consistent. They all share a love for planet Earth. They share great admiration for humans. They're also envious of humans in that humans are able to experience on planet Earth the whole swath of possible emotions, from compassion and kindness to, of course, the dark, denser, negative emotions, such as hate. They focus on the positive. They want to assist humans in ways that allowed humanity to become what it was always meant to be, which is a spiritual species of people, of beings that focus their entire existence on being of service to others in love and truth. I hope this answer was sufficient. I understand you have another question.
I do, actually. So if an Arcturian or a Palladian comes to individual people, the Bible of Christianity speaks of prophets, which are essentially workers, regular people that God uses to do their work. So my question is that when these aliens come to us, is that the reason that they're coming to us is for us to do the work of them through us? Or is there another meaning behind it?
Could you please rephrase that question
I don't know
and
if
speak
I
up
could.
a little louder, because I didn't catch quite all of that.
Why do the Arcturians and Palladians come to human beings personally? Is it to help them do their job here on Earth? Is it a past contract? What is the essence of why they come to certain people?
Most often, it is by soul contract. An agreement was reached before the human's incarnation. There will be discussions. For instance, with Brett, I spoke to his soul many times before we agreed to sign this contract together. It's for the benefit of the individual and for the species that these beings connect and reach out to take on missions such as the one I've taken on. it's for the benefit of all involved. Always, without exception. Hope this answer suffices.
Yes, thank you.
Anybody else?
Hi, this is Tim.
Hello, Tim.
How do emotions deal with spirituality in your opinion?
How do emotions
Intersect with spirituality. Work with spirituality.
Emotions are a great gift. They give beings the opportunity to express themselves truthfully and honestly in sharing their emotions when it's appropriate to do so. Emotions are part of what makes spirituality so valuable and important, especially when the focus is on emotions of love, caring, kindness, benevolence, gratitude. And I could recite the whole litany of every emotion that humans could possibly feel in a positive manner. Emotions play a role in the lives of all humans. And the spiritual connection, for instance, when one is immersed in spirituality, negative emotions are an anathema. They're not part of what a being wants to experience. The focus is on recognizing the negative emotions and learning from them in order to create positive emotions. Positive emotions make every spiritual endeavor much more likely to succeed, because love is usually part of the foundation. This makes everything possible for those who desire to grow spiritually and become one in a place where your emotions no longer are in control of you, but are your servant. I hope this answer was sufficient for you, Tim.
Yes, thank you, Orna.
You're very welcome.
One more question?
One more question and then we'll bring Brett back.
This is Joanne.
Good morning, Joanne.
Good morning. When we meditate, can we experience the fifth dimension?
It is possible for some. There are many who experience it right today because of the work they've done through meditation. It requires a much higher frequency to vibrate at, but it is certainly possible. Since meditation is always specific to the individual, there is not one guaranteed method to raise your vibration to that level at will. If you pardon, I'm trying to put these into human words, and sometimes it is difficult. You can reach the fifth dimension through meditation. You can astral travel to the fifth dimension if you so desire. Humans are extraordinarily gifted and powerful. It's really important that humans remember this and endeavor to understand how it came to be that this knowledge was forgotten. It's important for humans to awaken themselves and to remember who they are and how powerful all of humanity truly is. For when that power is unleashed through love, there is no limit to what is possible. I hope this question was answered sufficiently for you, Joanne.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. I thank you all for your questions, and I am now going to bid you farewell for now. I will return when requested, and we're going to let Brett come back forward to speak with you and answer questions you might have for him. Thank you very much. I leave you now in the name of the Creator, the source of all love, light, and energy. Live in peace, always.
Welcome back.
Thank you. No one's crying, that's good.
Wrong.
We can always count on you, Tim.
You're consistent. I am too. That's why I asked Doug to bring me some tissues, because I knew I would need them. You need one?
Only one.
Okay. So, nobody's frowning. I like that. If you have questions for me, ask away.
Well, how did it feel? You say you feel like you're in the upper left-hand corner, and you can hear her a little bit or sometimes.
Well, the upper left-hand corner thing was the very first time I channeled her so she could speak to Danielle. Since then, her connection has become much more solidified. So in my mind, I see what she wishes me to see, but primarily when I'm channeling her, I don't see anything. I don't hear anything. It's kind of like I'm off to the behind her, just kind of relaxing. It's always a pleasant experience. It's always a joyful experience. I always feel like after channeling, or like right now, I'd love to just jump up and down and go.
I do have one question. This is something that Orna could have answered, but I know she's told you, so maybe you can explain it to us. What does it mean when she says of Arcturian descent, and exactly what sort of being is she?
She's Arcturian. Her family and many families left the Arcturian system because they were dissatisfied with what they felt limited. They weren't able to progress spiritually as much as they wished. And so they left the Arcturian star system and went out in search of other beings that they could learn from. And they found some. And that's why most Arcturians don't live to be 10,000 years old. But members of Orna's families and other Arcturian families who made that similar trek do live very long lives. And they're no longer in a physical form. They're light energy beings. Whereas Arcturians, well, there is no planet Arcturus. There's the Arcturian star system. I don't even know the name of the whole world. That hasn't been revealed to me, mainly because I haven't asked. It wasn't like on my curiosity list, because it's a long walk wherever it is, and I'm not making that journey unless she takes me.
Okay, to that I will add, because we have had people ask us if the picture on the cover, if that is what Orna looks like. Now, Orna is not a corporeal being. That image is what came to me as a representation of basically what I felt she would look like if I could see her as a person. you know, because to me, she would be beautiful, she would be full of light, and her third eye would be freaking ridiculous, and, you know, so that is the image that came to me and that I created for the cover, so that's not exactly what she looks like, but close enough.
Nancy, you had a question? I saw your hand go up. I'll get you next.
I guess when I think people are channeling like you're at, is Orna actually coming in down into your body, maybe through the spinal cord or?
No, Orna connects to me through telepathically. When I was somewhere between my 5th grade and 6th grade year, I got hit by a car, and this was in the early 70s, and there was some very minor, thank God it was minor, brain damage. Well, she somehow utilizes that unrepaired brain damage to always be telepathically connected with me 24/7. That's how she connects.
So you can hear her talk,
Mm-hmm.
even though she's not talking. She's always talking to you.
Well, she's not always talking to me because that would be rude if I'm talking to somebody. She's not going to start jibber jabbering in my head.
I didn't really mean it that black and white.
Well, Arcturians are extraordinarily polite. I've learned that. They take that kind of thing really seriously. But yeah, she's always there.
She's there if you ask her to be there.
Yeah, because of the law of free will, everything I learn from her, I have to ask. There have been many times in meditation where I've been like, well, why didn't you just tell me? Because it would have been so much simpler. You can ask. And the law of free will is inviolate. It can never be broken. That's something else that just will not be allowed to occur.
Thank you for taking my question.
Sure.
My name is Angela.
Hi,
This is my
Angela.
second time here. So I've been going to psychics for 50 years now, since I was in my early teens, and I've never ever experienced channeling until today. So excuse me for my naivety, but
All right.
is it just more of a big picture, or is it more individual channeling? Like if you have an individual question of what's going on in your life, I guess I've kind of read a little bit about channeling, but can you ask the person who's channeling that spirit or that source specific questions of what's going on in their life or what they see coming down the road, that type of thing?
In other words, can you get a reading from a being
I
that's
guess,
being
yeah.
channeled? Absolutely you can. And in fact, I'm on the webpage here very soon, I hope.
Soon as the webmaster.
As soon as the webmaster gets it up there, Orna is going to be available one evening a week to do readings at a premium. The website is help me all.
Spirit Life.
Spiritlife.space. I don't know, for some reason.
And it's fairly rudimentary, but you can book a regular reading right through that. But we're working on it. We're working on it.
She's working on it.
I'm working on it.
I'm staying out of the way because I look at HTML code and I get sick. I go to the bathroom and puke. Not good for me.
Do you have any time today that I could ask you a specific question? Or
Certainly.
After?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
And if I can't do it today because she has someplace she
Okay.
has to be, I'll give you one of my cards and we can make an appointment.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
That
You're
might
very
be
well.
better.
You're very welcome.
Okay, thank you.
Has anybody else got a question? Oh wow, we went over time. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
we went over.
I haven't heard anybody complaining yet.
That's good. I'm glad.